All right, let's just jump right in. A crisis, it has this uncanny way of showing us what we've really been relying on this whole time. It's kind of like an earthquake for the soul. It doesn't just shake our circumstances, it shakes our very foundations. And it's in that shaking that we finally find out what's truly holding us up and what isn't. So let me just ask you, straight up, what have you been quietly leaning on? Maybe for you, it's a specific title you hold, or a role you play. Maybe it's a certain level of comfort. Or, let's be honest, maybe it's just the approval of other people. We all have these anchors we don't even really think about, right? Well, not until they start to drag. Because that's what pressure does. It has this way of showing us just how fragile those anchors really are. I mean, when the life we plan for suddenly feels scattered and totally unrecognizable, all the things we put our trust in, our sense of control, our neat little schedule, our image, they can start to just crumple. And man, that leaves us feeling profoundly unstable. But there is a way through this. The book of James, it gives us this incredibly honest inventory of what we hold dear. It contrasts the things that fade with the things that actually last. And listen, this isn't meant to shame us for feeling that sense of loss. Not at all. It's meant to point us toward a hope that's so much deeper, so much more durable. And this really lays it out in a stark contrast. On one side, you've got what the world tells us is security. Our control, our comfort, the approval we chase. James calls these fading assets. But then, on the other side, you see the lasting gifts that God gives in Christ. Things like our belovedness, our calling, our unshakable hope. These aren't things we earn based on our performance. They're simply given to us. And right here, this is the central idea. The things we so often build our lives on, they can be as temporary as a wildflower. Yeah, beautiful for a season, but ultimately incredibly fragile. But what God offers, well, that's not so easily shaken. It's a completely different category of security. Now, this contrast, it isn't supposed to leave us in despair over everything we're losing. That's not the point. Instead, it's designed to make us pivot, to lift our eyes up from our shaky circumstances to the one who is the source of every single good thing. Just let this truth from James sink in for a minute. Every single good and perfect gift, not just a few, but all of them, comes from the Father of lights. And you got to catch that last part. He does not change like shifting shadows. Think about that. In a world that is constantly changing, constantly unstable, our ultimate security is found in a God who is constant, who is steady, and who is relentlessly good. So here's the crucial point. This unchanging giver has also given us something absolutely profound, a new identity. And this identity completely redefines how we measure our own worth, especially when our ability to perform, to do things is stripped away. James says that God chose to bring us forth by his own will, making us a kind of first fruits of everything he created. Now that's not a term of achievement, it's a term of status. It means we are a special, chosen, and beloved part of his creation, set apart purely by his own initiative. And this, right here, is the core message for anyone walking through a crisis. Your deepest worth does not, I repeat, does not rest on your productivity or your visibility or your strength. It's not something you earn, it is a gift that you receive. It is secure in God, even when everything else feels totally insecure. So, how does this truth actually change the way we navigate hardship? I mean, this isn't just a nice idea. It's a real foundation we can actually build on. It's not about pretending loss isn't real. It's about placing that loss within a much larger, unshakable reality. And this just reframes everything, doesn't it? When our false securities are exposed and they start to crumble, it can really feel like our life is being taken away. But what if God is actually doing the opposite? What if he's using the removal of all those fragile things to draw us deeper into our true, secure life in him? Okay, so here's a super practical way to start living this out. Take a moment and actually do this inventory. Step 1, name what is fading. Be honest. What roles, what comforts, what securities feel threatened right now? Then, in a second column, name what remains in Christ. What can never, ever be taken from you? Your status as his beloved child, your eternal hope, your union with him. And this brings us to a final, clarifying question. It's a question that can reorient our entire perspective on suffering. Are we seeing our current trial as just some frustrating interruption to our real spiritual life? Or
Are we maybe beginning to see it as the very curriculum God is using to form a deep, resilient faithfulness in us?
See, the hardship isn't an obstacle to your real life, it is your curriculum. The pressures you're facing aren't random, they are the exact places where discipleship is happening. So may you find your deepest, truest security not in the things your hands can hold, but in the unwavering love of the Father who holds you.